You know, after Monday night, they have an excellent idea. I mean, why not our very own Triple Threat Talk vote of confidence?
I like where you're going with this. I gotta say.
Whoa. What?
Whoa.
What? What's the problem?
Last time I checked, my employee ID states that I am the producer/director of Triple Threat Talk.
Very good. So that means our vote of confidence would be against you.
No. If anyone's going to make a decision on a vote of confidence, it's going to be my decision, okay? You know what? I have a vote of confidence right here. I have no confidence in you two. In fact, you know what? This has been 18 episodes long. I'm done. Y'all can do it yourselves.
Well, we could do the show without you, Jack Lick.
Really? I mean, he just upped and walked out.
We can do the show without, can't we?
I don't know. I mean...
Can't we? Should we?
He edits the show.
Yeah.
He writes the music intro.
Yeah.
No! Big B! Big B! Please, I'll never say epic again.
And I won't ramble ever again.
I promise.
Please
come back. Please. You know what, though? He's gone, so we at least got to try to do this episode.
Okay.
All right, let's just try it.
Let's try it. And welcome everyone to yet another exciting edition of Triple.
Wait, whoa. That's not our music.
We were gonna do our little pick'ems thing up here, and where's that picture at? What's this button do?
What is this? Oh shit! Oh god! It's on the black.
Oh crap!
Oh god! What do we do? We need Big B.
And welcome everyone to yet another exciting edition of Triple Threat Talk.
It's episode 18. We're just moving along here.
Speeding along. Today we're going to talk about viewer questions. We're going to talk about, of course, football. And the first ever Triple Threat Talk debate.
Debate?
Before you go on, what's that there?
I think that's Domo and Top Dino.
Well, first of all, that's mine this week.
It is.
I went, again, I'll do it like I always do. Look on the screen. I went 11-5, and now I'm moving to second place tie with you. Yeah. You're still Top Dino.
Of course, because I'm epic.
But this week was very close. We'll get to, a little recap of week 4, and we do our pick'ems week 5 as well. But this week was very close with a lot of interesting games. Especially we'll get to the Dallas Fail Boys.
And the Philadelphia Overrateds.
Yeah. Really. First, we're going to kick it off with some viewer questions.
As always.
The first two questions, the first one is going to be directly towards Big B here.
Oh, okay.
Again.
Well, you can chime in also, because I think you have an opinion.
But this is from Against All Odds 20.
Of course it is.
Who basically is calling
This is towards me, okay.
He basically is saying, you need to get over yourself. Cody Rhodes is terrible. He is on his daddy's coattails. He's crappy on the mic. Blah, blah, blah. He basically just said Cody Rhodes is a fail.
Right.
And he's calling your man out.
He's calling you out. Do you want to address it now or later in the debate?
I'll address it more in the debate, but I'll basically say, again, I respect your opinion. But first of all, Against All Odds, and I'm talking directly to you, buddy. When I said Cody Rhodes was in the main event, what I meant was when he was with Randy Orton, he was associated in main event matches. When Orton was around, he was in the main event constantly with Legacy. So that's what I was talking about. Cody Rhodes got main event status. He got a main event picture. You got to look at the main event, what it looked like with Randy Orton. That's what I was talking about. Second of all, you got to look at it this way, okay? Cody Rhodes is not boring on the mic. It's just his gimmick. That's how he talks. That's his gimmick on the mic. That's how he talks. And I'll get more in the debate later, so you better watch later, and I'll get more in the debate why Cody Rhodes is good. So you better stick around Against All Odds, or I'll ban you.
And the second question is towards me.
What?
Yes. Yet again, Against All Odds is throwing the wood.
Come on, Against All Odds.
He's ready to box, baby.
I like this guy.
He wants to know.
Wait. Are you Against All Odds?
No.
Okay. Are
you
sure?
You're on YouTube.
I did.
What is it? Epic Fail? 1983?
Metroplex 247.
Metro Fail?
Metro Fail.
Anyway, get to the question.
So, he wants to know from me if I have a hatred towards the Lucha Libres.
Whoa, what's with this hatred Against All Odds?
Because I say I dislike Rey Mysterio and I dislike the way they were doing Sin Cara. Let me correct you on one thing. I never said I dislike Sin Cara. I said I dislike what they're doing with the Sin Cara versus Sin Cara. I said that's stupid. It's overplayed. It's already been done. with Undertaker versus Undertaker. You don't need to do it again. And the reason why I hate Rey Mysterio is because he doesn't belong in the heavyweight division. I am sorry. He doesn't belong in a heavyweight title match against Mark Henry, for instance.
And again, I think most of you agree, the first time he won the world title is probably only because Eddie Guerrero passed away.
It's
a lot of wrestling fans probably would agree with that.
I don't hate Lucha Libres because, as a matter of fact...
We'll get to that.
As a matter of fact, apparently I have a new favorite wrestler on the block. As you all know, and this will lead right into this next question, that I have a favorite word around here, and if you guys don't know it, maybe you all can tell the audience.
I think it's fail. Yeah.
No, it's the opposite of fail.
Oh,
it's
epic!
There you go. So this next question is, if you could bring any superstar from the Florida Championship Wrestling, otherwise known as FCW, who would it be?
All right, I'll let you go on your little, excitement in a little bit, but I'll name some people here. We have some people written down. Briley Pierce. Now, name probably like, who's Briley Pierce? Well, it's actually the brother of one Mr. Dolph Ziggler. So that'd be pretty cool. Bo Rotunda, the brother of Husky Harris. So that'd be interesting. Richie Steamboat, no surprise there. The son of Ricky Steamboat. And Xavier Woods. Now you're asking yourself, who's Xavier Woods?
Consequences Creed?
Exactly. Consequences Creed. So there's some people on the FCW roster. Again, if you go to fcwwrestling.com and go on the roster page, there's a whole roster of the people on there. And you can take a look at some of those people. And again, you'll recognize Briley Pierce as Dolph Ziggler's brother and Richie Steamboat.
And me and Big B checked out a couple matches on FCW today. Guess who wrestles in FCW?
I knew Ricardo Rodriguez wrestled.
Ricardo!
Yeah, it's where he counts. It's where he.
And he lost to Richie Steamboat the match we watched.
But
anyway, let's get your moment of joy out here.
The wrestler, apparently he's going to be my new favorite. And as soon as he goes
I think he's going to keep an eye on this guy until he comes to WWE.
Because, face it, there's no other word
and I guarantee you, because we saw Hunico was in FCW and they changed his name to the other Sin Cara, you'll be devastated if they change this guy's name.
If they change this guy's name, I will be devastated.
Maybe they'll change it to Phalo.
And honestly, there's reasons behind this, but the wrestler's name, I kid you not, Epico.
Epico.
Which is epic! I'm so excited about that. So, Epico.
Epico.
So next question. Did you see the new SmackDown vs. Raw 2012 game yet?
Well, first of all, just to correct you, it's called WWE 12 this year. It looks, they call it bigger, badder, better, and I'm not going to lie, I've played the SmackDown series since 06, and it's had its ups and downs, but this, obviously, WWE 12 looks a lot improved game. They changed the camera angles, they changed the physics, it looks a lot more realistic, it looks like it has a pace of an actual wrestling match, instead of like last year, which is it felt like a video game. It looks more realistic this year for me.
I haven't got a chance to see it yet, but I always check them out every year, so I'll probably check it out.
I saw the review with Big B several times in it. Definitely looks awesome. I can't wait for it to come out.
Yeah, we'll definitely talk about it when it's coming out for sure.
WWE All Stars was a definite kind of a good layover to kind of keep you busy during
All Stars was a bit surprised for me because when I first saw All Stars, I'm like, I'm not going to get this, but I played it and I really enjoyed the game. So.
Right. So, and definitely, these are always good and they always seem to get better.
Right.
So, greatest stable or group in WWE or TNA history?
I guess we can agree DX for one.
Gotta be.
Now,
Nexus.
I like the Nexus a lot.
I know they didn't say WCW, but I'm going to invoke a group here and say the Four Horsemen.
NWO.
Because the Four Horsemen, to me, is the epiphany of group. Epitome, thank you.
Yeah, an epiphany? Epic.
It's the epitome of stables. They were the original stable.
Yeah,
they were pretty good. Come on. The original Four Horsemen.
Yeah. Dean Malenko.
He wasn't a member of the original Four Horsemen.
He was part of the secondary.
Whatever.
The original Four Horsemen.
Arn Anderson.
Ole Anderson. Ric Flair. Woo. Woo. And J. Dillon was their manager. So, what is the saddest thing you've ever seen in wrestling?
Jeez, way to bring the show down.
I know.
Big B's commentary.
Whoa!
Thank you.
Hey,
that's good.
To steal a point from a famous video game commercial, well done, Doc.
Thank you.
Well done.
I don't know. I think the saddest thing was I was in high school when I've mentioned it a couple times. The Owen Hart tragedy happened in the ring. I think as far as in the ring and televised, I think that's probably the saddest thing I've ever seen.
I know you're saying the saddest thing you've seen, but I think the saddest thing to me is probably what happened to Draws. because he was so young and he had so much potential, and he was only in the WWE for maybe like a year and a half to 2 years. And to have that happen to him, if you don't know what I'm talking about, there was a house show with him and D'Lo Brown.
D'Lo failed.
D'Lo Brown went for his finishing move with the lowdown, which is like a pickup power bomb, and he picked him up and he accidentally dropped him, and Draws landed right on his his noggin, and that was the end of it for Draws. And he had a lot of potential. I think Vince seemed to like him, so that's a pretty sad thing to see someone's career cut short pretty quickly.
I think the saddest thing I ever saw, and in other ways it could be the best thing you ever saw. But to me, the very first SmackDown after September 11th.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Lillian Garcia singing in the national anthem. I sat there and cried like a baby.
I don't blame you.
I mean, they were the first.
I cried.
First televised
They were the
event.
first
Like, I'm
televised
getting
public
chills
assembly.
thinking about it. Like, I was sitting there watching it. And they were the first organized event after that happened.
Yeah.
And to see her sing her heart out on, in the ring, that, to me, it's bringing tears to my eyes right now. But that was a sad moment.
Yeah.
I've always
You need a minute?
I've always thought they should put that on DVD. That's.
I think it's on the Best of SmackDown. I'm not sure.
Yeah, it is on the Best of SmackDown.
The full broadcast.
It might be highlights of it, but I know it's on there in some capacity.
In this last question, we are hesitant to answer it because
Of who's in it.
of who's in this question, but we will address it. And we haven't totally come to agreement, but real soon, we're going to take about 15 minutes of the show and explain to you why we don't discuss
This person.
this person. But the question is this. Which match was better, WrestleMania match? Shawn Michaels versus Kurt Angle,
I mean, Koba Angle?
or Shawn Michaels versus Hunter Hearst Helmsley versus CB?
Right.
I'm actually going to say Shawn Michaels and Kurt Angle.
Yeah, I would think that also.
Yeah, it's a more one-on-one kind of experience. Both people, it wasn't splitting the talent three ways.
Don't get me wrong. The match between Michaels, Hunter Hearst Helmsley, and CB was a great match. To be honest with you, it was a great moment for CB to win his first ever world title after like 20 years, whatever.
Right.
But again, Shawn Michaels, Kurt Angle. How can you not say that's a better match? I mean, not to take it away from Kurt Angle and his personal problems, but Kurt Angle is probably the best pure wrestler in wrestling history because of his Olympic background, how good he is in the ring, and obviously Shawn Michaels makes anybody look good in the ring. You mean match with him and John Cena, that looked good. How John Cena is. But
yeah, I mean I totally agree with you there. I think that the Shawn Michaels Kurt Angle match was a lot better match, and I think singles matches usually are. There's very few times that triple threat matches are better than most of your singles matches. Mm-hmm. And the final question. Will we be discussing the NHL season? Which, yes, we will be discussing the NHL when it comes time. So tune in for that. I'm a avid Pittsburgh Penguins fan, so I'll gladly talk some ice hockey with the best.
I'm a Devils fan. They didn't do so good last year. So.
And then also, coming up, we're probably going to do, me and Postmaster probably, because I'm not sure how up you are, but we're probably going to do a Breeders' Cup special. So
I'll talk about...
Yeah, a little bit of Breeders'
Cup
action.
I'll probably the only thing I know about is the horses is how good the names are.
So we'll see if Blaine can go back-to-back in the Breeders' Cup.
And also the other part of the questions that we can talk about MLB Playoffs, which we're going to get to a little bit later.
Right. So that wraps it up for viewer questions.
Thank you very much.
We thank you all for that. And with that, we're going to move on to a little Major League Baseball playoffs.
That's up closer than I thought. I just got to check the bulletin board.
Bulletin board.
That
needs to be a t-shirt.
No.
I think that Detroit, they're playing tonight.
They're playing. Actually, speak. It's on right now.
As we speak.
But as this airs, it's
I know
already
there
over.
was some not confusion, but some questionability whether or not they'd be able to win if they only got to pitch Justin Verlander.
Well, he pitched last night and they won.
Last night they won. It's 2-1 right now. The Yankees are fighting for their survival.
I think when the playoffs first started, I thought you have the Phillies on one side as the most dominant team in the National League, and you have the Yankees on the other side as the most dominant team in the American League. But now you have the Detroit Tigers, who are up 2-1. They're playing in Detroit tonight. They win this game, it's over for the Yankees. And A.J. Purnett's pitching for the Yankees, who's obviously not the greatest pitcher in the world for them. Their best pitcher is CeCe Sabathia, and he pitched last night and got the L against Justin Verlander. So I think the Yankees might be done here.
And I think another big thing is that the rainout really did switch the swing, I think, of the events, because up until the rainout that happened, Justin Verlander was looking at pitching twice in the series.
Right, yeah.
And then after the rainout, he was only going to pitch once.
Right.
So,
absolutely.
Mother Nature had different plans, I guess.
Yeah.
And, of course, the Tampa Bay Rays are already eliminated.
Texas Rangers.
Texas Rangers
Swept
took care of business today.
3-1.
Yep, 3-1. So
St. Louis is making it a series.
St. Louis just lost tonight, so they're down 2-1 to the Phillies. Their backs are against the wall, but everyone thought the Phillies were going to sweep. So the Cardinals are playing better than people expected. So we'll see what happens when the Phillies try to close out the Cardinals.
I think.
So who's your World Series pick?
Right now, like I said, I thought it was going to be the Phillies and the Yankees, but I'm still going with the Phillies in the NL. I still think the Phillies have the best pitching rotation. They got. I mean,
do you think the Phillies will win the World Series this year?
Well, I mean, I say the Phillies go to the World Series in the NL. Right now, the AL is tough because you have Texas, and then
the winner of Detroit, New York.
Detroit, New York. So I don't know if Detroit has enough to beat Texas, but the pitching is really good. So I might have to go with Texas. I think Texas' offense is a lot better than Detroit. So I'm going to say Texas and Philly in the World Series. And I think Philly just pitching is too dominant. So I'm going to go with Philly maybe in 5 or 6 games World Series.
I'm going to say Philly, and I'm going to say Detroit. You know, you got to keep that train going. You're going with Justin Verlander, who is going to win the Cy Young Award this year.
Yeah, I would think so.
And probably going to
He should win MVP.
I think he should win MVP. All these people that think pitchers don't have if you don't think a pitcher has a major play in the game, that's like taking the quarterback out of football.
Yeah, really.
I mean, without those 26 wins that Verlander's got in Detroit this year, in the regular season, they're not even in the playoffs. So they're not even talking playoffs.
I think it'll be the Philadelphia Phillies, and I totally agree with you. I think the Detroit Tigers. You got Justin Verlander. You got Max Scherzer, who's another good starter for the Tigers. And I think the Detroit Tigers win the World Series this year.
All right.
Another, before we move on here, another kind of funny note is a couple of years ago on Saturday Night Live, Seth Meyers had and I promise this is going somewhere. Seth Meyers had a funny kind of story that Kate Hudson was pregnant by A-Rod's baby, and he said that would be the first time A-Rod's ever produced in October.
Whoa!
And, I happened to look up some stats because I happened to think about that, and he hasn't produced. He's over 10.
He doesn't step up in the playoffs. I think A-Rod's overrated. He doesn't come in clutch in the playoffs.
He is definitely not Mr. October.
No.
Well,
checking the bulletin board again.
Checking the bulletin board here, and it looks like the doctor has a little NCAA football he wants to lay on us here. So, Doc.
I'm not going to go through everything. Obviously, there's way too many schools.
Yeah, take us all day.
The top 25 definitely had an interesting week. The higher numbers did win, which I thought was really weird. I.e. Arkansas over Texas A&M 42-38.
Great game. If you didn't watch it,
and that's a preview of what you're going to see in the West next year as Texas A&M goes to the SEC.
Arkansas came back. They were down.
They were way down.
Razorbacks.
Kansas State, number 20 over Baylor, who's number 25, 36-35 in a nail-biter.
Sounds like it.
Auburn 15 is victorious over South Carolina, number 18, 16-13. The Roll Tide roll over Florida, 38-10.
That ended up being a yawner.
That was.
But key thing here, Florida starter John Brantley was injured. So that did have a little effect on the game.
Right.
To me,
because he was injured early.
Oh, yeah.
He was injured early.
But, and then in Nebraska's first Big Ten game, absolutely abysmal showing against Wisconsin. Nebraska ranked number 14, Wisconsin ranked number 4. Wisconsin just drills them 48-17 to get the W. And
Good Lord.
I think Nebraska might have bit off a little bit more than they could chew when they moved to the Big.
I think so. One more game I'd like to mention real quick that I watched was Northwestern versus Illinois.
Amazing game.
Oh my God. That game was unbelievable. Like, I had no rooting interest whatsoever. But that game had me on my toes. It was so back and forth. And Illinois come down and scored the game winner with less than a minute to go in the game. A definite.
That was just
matchup.
An amazing game to watch. And while I mention it, I will mention one more game. Marshall getting the win over U of L, and I only bring that up because I think Marshall deserves to win every now and then because of the tragedy that happened to them in the 60s and 70s.
If you didn't see the movie Marshall, it's actually very good.
Yeah. And then Kentucky, not to show favoritism, gets drilled by LSU.
Big surprise.
Louisville's terrible anyway. So.
Yeah.
So college football and the Bluegrass State is.
Yeah.
Except for Trinity.
I said college football.
Which, by the way, they were featured on ESPN today.
Yeah, they did.
Sports Nation, James Quick getting a little love on Sports Nation. Congratulations, James Quick and the Trinity Shamrocks, who blew out their arch rival
X Tigers.
St. Xavier, 48-14.
When Trinity
They played
beats
two St. X's.
when Trinity beats St. X, they just destroy them.
I mean, they've
That's
beaten
not entirely
everybody.
fair because 2 years ago, St. X beat them both
Yeah.
times.
Well, I
They
know.
do.
I'm saying when Trinity beats St. X, they beat them bad.
Yeah.
They do. So from NFL, transitioning down to high school,
Mhm.
and skipping a ladder to the
Down
NFL.
to the big boys.
Week
there
4 was very interesting.
It's all about the chemistry right now. You know, you've got, I think a lot of people with the free agency dash. You know, we're 4 weeks in, 25% done with the season. With the free agency dash, most teams that got big names out of the free
There's
agency.
one team that isn't doing well. That's the Eagles.
Most of the teams that got big names out of the free agency are doing abysmal. The Eagles, for one,
Miami's not winning one game.
Arizona. I mean, you got the good right now. Who are the good? You got the 2 undefeateds. Detroit and the Packers.
Wait a minute. Did you say Detroit's undefeated?
Detroit
Wow!
undefeated 4-0.
Unbelievable.
The Saints in San Francisco with 3-1. The bad
Can't argue with
Arizona, the Eagles, and Dallas.
The Fail Boys.
Tony Fail.
And then the absolutely ugly Miami, Rams, and Vikings. And to get on to my point about chemistry, Indianapolis, although it's not their fault, they built their entire offense around Peyton Manning, as we covered a couple weeks ago. And I think they're paying the price.
I've said it before, and I'll say it again. Until they get Peyton Manning back, they're not going to win a game.
They're not. And I think the interesting thing to note here is, I want to throw this out to you all. When you talk about chemistry, they molded the chemistry of that team's offense around Peyton Manning. Do you think they should mold the offense around Curtis Painter or Curtis Painter around the offense?
You know what? I don't think it really matters at this point.
Yeah, I don't think Curtis Painter's the answer.
Because I think here's what's going on right now. Obviously, unfortunately, Peyton Manning's hurt. They're not getting him back this entire season, so they may win 2 or 3 games at most. Maybe they'll win this week. I don't know.
They play the chumps.
But I think what's going to happen now is Peyton Manning's not getting any younger.
Mm-hmm.
He's obviously getting on in years. So I think what's going to happen is the Colts are probably fine with maybe not doing as well as they'd hoped to do it, and maybe get Andrew Luck and start grooming him when Peyton Manning retires. Sorry.
Fair enough.
Fair enough. So, moving on from that to the pick'ems for week number 5.
Yeah.
Top Dino was you, and I went 11-5 last week.
So
So
you are the top domo.
Top Dino, we'll start off with the picks.
All right. Key note here, just to note, the Baltimore Ravens, the Cleveland Browns, the Dallas Fail Boys, the Miami Dolphins, the St. Louis Clams, and the Washington Redskins all have byes this week. So key that to note. So with that, we're kicking off with the New Orleans Saints and the Carolina Panthers.
Top Dino starts it off.
Saints.
I'm going to go with the Saints.
I mean, I know Cam Newton's playing well, but the Saints just have an explosive offense that can't be stopped. So I go with the Saints.
The Pittsburgh Steelers against the Tennessee Titans. Titans?
I think I'm going to have to go with the Titans.
I mean, last week, the Steelers, I don't know who they were. They obviously didn't play well against the Texans. Roethlisberger doesn't know if he's going to play or not. Steelers, they have that Super Bowl hangover. They're not doing good this year. I go with the Titans.
The toilet bowl game of the week.
One of your teams is in there.
The Indianapolis Colts against the Kansas City Chumps.
This is a tough game because both teams are just so terrible.
Now, the Colts are at home. It is the Chumps who did beat the Vikings,
they're in
who's
the drum.
also a fail.
They are in the drum.
So, Doc?
This is tough.
I think because they're at home, and because I think they are going to get their act together, I'm going to go with Indy.
I'm going to pick Indy also. I don't think Kansas City is that good. I think the Vikings are just that bad. So
I pick Indy as well, and at this rate, we're going to be batting whatever because we're all picking the same
I think it's
thing.
going to change towards the bottom, I think.
I think it's going to change right here. Philadelphia versus Buffalo.
I got to go with the Bills. For those of y'all who did not see the game, San Francisco came back over the Eagles. 20
Yeah, but what about the Bills losing to the Bengals? The Bongles.
It's just one of those things, you know. It's just one of those things. If it were at Philly, I'd go with Philly.
Anyway,
I'm giving him the violin.
Whoa! Almost not
Way to
done.
go! Way to kill Domo.
Anyway,
Time's ticking here.
I think Philly gets their act together. I think Philly has to win this week.
That's an epic fail. I think Philly loses yet again. They're overrated. They're un-teamworkable.
Their chemistry's not kicking.
Exactly.
What we talked about earlier.
Thank you.
Chemistry.
Back to your chemistry point.
The Seattle Seahawks and the New York Football Giants.
They're at New York. I don't see any point why the Giants won't win this one.
Yeah, I mean, last week I picked the Seahawks and looked like a dumb pick last week, but they only lost by 2 points to the Falcons. They went for a 61-yard field goal. Completely absurd. Again, if Seattle was playing at home, I'd have to go with my team, the Seahawks, but they're not playing at home. They're playing in the Meadowlands, so I'll go with the Giants.
I'm going with the Giants again, and yet again, we all agree again. This is.
Oh, no, we didn't agree on Philly and Buffalo.
That's the only one so far. All right, the Bengals and the Jaguars.
I'm going to have to go with Cincinnati. I think the Jacksonville is 1-3, and Cincy's 2-2.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to have to say Cincy because I really have not seen anything from the Jacksonville secondary.
Yeah, I know they're playing in Jacksonville, correct?
Yeah.
I don't see Cincinnati winning this game. I mean, even though last week Blaine Gabbert's numbers were abysmal.
Blaine Gabbert.
Blaine Gabbert.
What are you waiting?
Yeah. I mean, his numbers last week were abysmal, but I don't think the Bengals are that very good. I think Jacksonville pulls this one out.
I think the Bengals win again, 2 in a row.
Okay.
The Oakland Raiders against the Houston Texans.
Houston Epics.
I'm going to have to. They're at home. Andre Johnson is out, but I'm still.
Arian Foster is in?
Arian Foster's in, and so is Owen Daniels. I'm going to have to go with Texas.
I mean, as we discussed in our Triple Threat Talk football special, this is the year of the Texans. I go with the Texans.
Texans all the way.
God.
Arizona versus the Minnesota Fails.
Arizona. Fact of the matter is this: Arizona would have won last week. There's definitely a questionable call.
Yeah, if you didn't see it.
If you did not see that, you got to look it up.
Yeah.
Point of the matter is, Beanie Wells is having the year of his life. Larry Fitzgerald and Kevin Kolb are starting to click. I'm going Arizona.
You know what? I can predict this game right now. Minnesota's going to be up 20-0, and Arizona wins like 27-20. Minnesota cannot hold the lead in the game. They are an abysmal team. They cannot hold the lead. Arizona all the way.
Arizona all the way. And a tough game of the week to pick.
Gee, I wonder who you're going to pick.
The Tampa Bay Buccaneers, tied for first in the NFC South, versus the NFC West leading San Francisco. Wait a minute.
NFC West leading. Is this the 1980s?
I don't know.
Early 90s?
San Francisco Giants.
I think the
Giants. Wait a minute. Whoa,
Barry Bonds.
49ers. I'm sorry.
I think the 49ers are getting their act together, and I think they're discovering who they are as a football team.
Gee, what a surprise!
I didn't pick them last week, and it bit me in the butt.
Yeah.
I picked them.
You picked them.
But I was still.
This is not the same Tampa Bay team that blanked us last year at Candlestick. I'm going with San Francisco.
As much as I hate to admit it, they look like they have their act together this year. They beat the Eagles last week. We're having a bad year. I'm going to have to go with the Niners, as much as it pains me to say.
I picked the Niners last week
But,
to beat the Philadelphia Eagles.
and this week,
But this week, not so fast, my friend. I'm picking the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
cover your Buccaneers.
I don't know so many people that can just sit Nnamdi Asamoah down like Frank Gore did.
New York Jets
twice.
versus the New England Pats.
Oh, boy.
New England.
My Super Bowl pick.
Ooh, he said a wash.
Not in a wash. I say maybe by 4 points. I think the Jets get their act together this week, but it's tough because that loss last week to the Ravens really hurt them and their chance of maybe possibly getting into the playoffs or winning the AFC East. I'm going to have to go with the Patriots, though. I think the Patriots are on a roll.
I think the Patriots in an absolute
This is not good. This is really close.
one. San Diego versus Denver.
San Diego.
Denver, start Tim Tebow. I picked the Chargers.
Fail. I picked the Chargers as well.
But see, the thing about Tim Tebow is also Brady Quinn's their secondary.
Yeah, but I think
The Sunday night game of the week. The Atlanta Falcons against the Green Bay Packers.
Green Bay.
Atlanta Falcons, go Packers.
I say the Packers win. I don't see the Packers losing a game this year.
I see him winning a cup. I see him losing a cup.
I think Packers maybe 13-3 or 12-4.
12.
And the Monday Night Football game of the week, the Chicago Bears
Versus the undefeated
Detroit Lions.
I think I'm going to have to go, since they're at Detroit, I'm going with the Lions.
2 years ago. 2 years ago, the Lions won 0 games and lost all of them. This year, they're off to a great start. They beat the Bears, go 5-0. Unbelievable.
Well, you know what they always say.
Well, no, wait a minute. You said last week the Fail Boys had them their first loss, and they didn't do it.
They almost did.
They blew it.
They blew it. It's not my fault.
Look like the Vikings.
But the Bears are better than the Cowboys, and they're going to prove why they're better. It's Monday night. Jay Cutler, Brian Urlacher, Devin Hester, the Chicago Bears give the Lions their first loss of the season. Mark it down.
All right.
So,
that's it for
Pick'ems.
Again, I'll pull it up on this screen yet again. It's a very close race for top Dino. Last week, it got even closer. Me and him are in a tie for second. He's in first. It's only going to get closer as the NFL season moves on. So,
and now that brings us
to the Triple Threat Talk.
First ever
debate.
And this was brought up against all odds, or from against all odds. And this is why we encourage you all to leave comments, questions, and everything.
Criticisms.
We are taking against all sides. When I say we, me and PostMaster are taking against all odds side against Big B. And why we think Cody Rhodes
is an epic fail.
Is more ridiculous than the 2008 Detroit Lions.
Whoa! He is on you tonight.
So he is against all odds.
So what is your opening statement?
Opening statement. What do you want me to say here?
I don't know. You're the one that's got to convince us that Cody Rhodes is good.
Okay. I already explained it last week, and I'm not going to go into much detail last week because I think I pulled a doctor last week. I think I rambled.
Let him speak.
You know, it's like with every wrestler, okay? They start from the bottom, and sometimes they don't make it to the top. But Cody Rhodes has proved something to them. He has been with an epic faction, Legacy, and you can't disagree that faction was not epic. Okay, they had one of the most epic scenes I've ever seen before in my life with that thing where Triple H was chasing him backstage, and that had me standing up in excitement. That was amazing. When they were chasing him backstage, that was awesome. And again, Legacy is a tag team. Cody Rhodes and Ted DiBiase were a great tag team. You can't disagree with that as well. Then, obviously, they had Cody Rhodes go on his own, give him his dashing gimmick, and that was cool because they gave him something that wasn't done since, like, Mr. Perfect. And also, he's epic. And then they do this, again, in my opinion, I think this wasn't right. They changed the dashing gimmick a little bit too quickly with a facial injury with Rey Mysterio, and they made him this, like, kind of like a Mankind character, but it gives him a sense of a gimmick character that is a little bit original. He's like, oh, I don't want to see my face. He's just like a little bit kind of Mankind conceited kind of a gimmick there. And obviously, he beat a lot of good people, mid-card people, winning the Intercontinental title. Was in the Money in the Bank match, was very close to becoming Money in the Bank, so obviously he's proved he belongs there. And on Night of Champions, he brought back the epic old school Intercontinental title, and then he beat John Morrison in his business clothes.
First of all, he brought the title back at Hell in a Cell, not Night at the Champions.
Yeah, whatever.
If you're going to quote, apparently you don't even know your guy after all.
Whatever. Anyway.
But let me interject
let me finish. So
he's in an
let me finish my thing here. I know we're running low on time here, as we always are. I just think everyone says like, oh, Cody Rhodes isn't that good, whatever. But here's my bottom line. Here's my closing statement for this. Okay, when someone moves up and wins the Intercontinental title, what's normally next for them? It's a world championship push, and that's exactly what he's going for. Okay, obviously they push him a lot. They have a lot of confidence in Cody Rhodes, and people say, "Oh, he's only pushed because of his daddy." Well, that only gets people so far. Look at Ted DiBiase; he's completely terrible. Look who his daddy was. I think his daddy was just as good as Dusty Rhodes. Well, maybe not, but he still was good. So a lot of people whose parents were in wrestling, they don't get big pushes all the time either. But I think Cody Rhodes shows them something. He's got a lot of talent, and I think Cody Rhodes is on his way to the top. I'm done.
Well, first of all, Ted DiBiase Sr. does not work behind the scenes for WWE like Dusty Rhodes does. So there's one point there. And they shouldn't have been called Evolution. They should have been called Daddy's Coattails.
They weren't called Evolution, they were called Legacy.
Well, either way, I'm just saying, they should have been called Daddy's Coattails because that's what they're doing. Both of them are doing it. And
all three of them were at the time.
And the only reason that he's getting a push as he is, like I said, because his daddy works backstage, and he's been with the company for years, and he kisses Vince's keister, and he does whatever he wants. So therefore, in turn, little Cody gets to do. And let's not forget, Goldust also works backstage,
yeah. So
that's another added plus. So therefore, Cody Rhodes is not that good. I'm sorry. He's the Intercontinental Champion. So what? Let's go over the list of previous Intercontinental Champions. Santino Marella. Okay. Where's he been lately? Umaga. Oh, let's see. Oh, he's dead.
Wow! Come on, man! How dare you go there?
I'm just saying. There's been a lot of Intercontinental Champions that have amounted to nothing. Now, will Cody Rhodes become a world champion? Absolutely not. No way.
Okay, there's where you're wrong. Okay, he's on his way to world championship, and I said this before. He's going to be world champion whether you like it or not.
He's not going to be. I'll tell you this: if they make him Intercontinental Champion before Wade Barrett,
world champion.
Before Wade Barrett, yeah.
That is a fail because Wade Barrett is way more better than Cody Rhodes.
Way more better. Good English thing.
And that brings me to my rebuttal to your statement is, I want to get you a mirror, okay? I want to get you a mirror, and on one side of it, I'm going to put Cody Rhodes' career, and on the other, I'm going to put Wade Barrett's career. They are identical, and I'm going to explain that. Where did Wade Barrett start after NXT? When he actually came in, what did they do? They went to the Nexus, all right? A big group that raised all kinds of hell. And then they got tag team championships. What happened with Cody Rhodes and Legacy?
Well,
they raised all kinds of hell, and they got the tag team championships. Next step up, Wade Barrett, with the help of his cohorts, gets the Intercontinental Championship. Next step up for Cody. Cody, with the help of his cohorts, gets the Intercontinental Championship. But still. Then Wade Barrett loses the title, and last night on Raw, he had the spokesman. He was the spokesman for the people that were walking out on SmackDown. And he did we'll get to that later, but he did a very good job supporting that. And now, right now, you still have it. Barrett had the title for 4 months. Cody's going on 3. I guarantee you the next month, he loses the championship sometime next month.
To who?
I don't have an answer.
Exactly.
But
then your point is invalid.
No,
okay.
My point is not invalid.
It's invalid
because
there is nobody step up on SmackDown that you can legitimately give me a position that they can take the top from Cody. There is nobody on SmackDown that is a mid-card status that they're going to throw at him right now.
It's possible anybody can take it. We saw it. Who saw Wade Barrett winning his first Intercontinental Championship?
I did. He beat Ezekiel Jackson, who's not that good.
Not that soon. Yeah. I'm just telling you. Their careers have been identical so far, and I totally agree with PostMaster here. The first person to get the championship, the heavyweight championship between him and Cody Rhodes, is going to be Wade Barrett.
You can say that all you want. It's going to be Cody Rhodes.
Well, I totally disagree.
It's going to be Cody Rhodes.
You need to get off your Cody Rhodes soapbox because it's getting old, and it's getting old very fast.
And
it's too bad.
It's making you a little bit biased.
It is making you very biased.
Okay.
You're being very biased.
No, I'm not.
Yes, you are.
I just think he's that good.
He's not that good.
Who did he face last time at pay-per-view besides John Morrison? Ted DiBiase's not that good. Do you think Ted DiBiase was going to win?
Okay, that's not the point. Exactly.
That's making him look good.
They're trying to make him look good.
Because he is good.
He's not good at all. In a fair fight, normal rules, John Morrison whips Cody Rhodes' ass.
Twice on Sunday.
Abso-freaking-lutely.
I mean, the guy is built like a brick.
Go back to last Monday night. In a real battle royal, Sheamus kills Cody Rhodes.
I like Sheamus more than Cody Rhodes. I've never denied that.
That's true. Well, he does like Sheamus more than Cody Rhodes.
I know. I'm just stating the facts. Cody Rhodes is not epic. Get over yourself. Get off the soapbox. And quit being so gosh dang biased. Enough.
So that is the first ever Cody Rhodes debate. That's the first ever triple threat debate.
I think we've had
Let us know how we did. Let us know how you think we did. If we put Big B in his place, or if you got to give the W to the team of Postmaster and Doctor. And we got to move on to Hell in a Cell, guys.
Crazy.
Oh, I'll tell you one other thing. Undefeated.
Undefeated. Whoa! He wasn't undefeated.
Oh, take that back.
No, I was giving you a high five.
Okay.
Yeah, you too. Good job, guys. I went 3-2. They went 5-0.
5-0.
I mean, technically we went 4-1 with Sin Cara, but
no, y'all don't know who lost that.
Exactly.
It was a freebie match, so no one got blamed.
Freebie.
Finally, we'll go over real quick. Finally, Beth Phoenix wins her Divas Championship after like 4 months with Kelly being champion. Mark Henry retains. Alberto Del Rio is the new WWE champion. And that was pretty much and Sheamus beat Christian. That was pretty much the
then at the end is when Hell did break out of the cell.
It was definitely.
That was crazy.
Hell in a Cell.
That was crazy.
Of course, Miz and Miz and Truth taken out after they just beat the hell out of anybody.
Yeah, I love how they were destroying the whole roster.
Yeah.
That's when the cops come in and they're like, all right, we're done.
Well, see,
they beat up the camera guy, they beat up the referees, and I mean, Triple H is beside himself. And I mean, it's like, somebody get me open the sound.
He even shoved his own partner, John Laurinaitis.
I think a big thing to note here, everybody was after Miz and Truth, whether you were a face or a heel, you were down there trying to get that.
I saw Sin heel out there. Yeah. I saw Mark Henry. Everyone was out there.
Everybody was out there. It was wild, and it went off with all we knew was Miz and R-Truth getting carted off in handcuffs, and Triple H looks like the Incredible Hulk. He's so pissed off. He's busting out of his dress shirt. I mean, he needs to
go back to Barney. He's getting refitted.
Yeah, absolutely. So. With the transition over to Monday Night Raw, you're thinking, what could they possibly do to fix this?
Right.
Turns out they didn't fix it.
They didn't fix it. Apparently, it's a lot worse than what we thought, because if you saw the skit at the beginning, we kind of
poked fun at
that a little bit. But a vote of confidence and
vote of no confidence.
Vote of no confidence, and I'm sorry, but Mike Chioda getting a speaking role? That was awesome. I mean,
he spoke for the referees.
He spoke for the referees, and you could definitely tell that he had the voice there. And Beth Phoenix spoke for all the divas. Wade Barrett spoke for SmackDown, and Jerry Lawler spoke for himself.
I think the interesting thing to point out about Wade Barrett real quick here is the people were going off on the background on him. He didn't stutter. He didn't break side. He lowered the microphone for 1 second, and that was so he could get over the volume in the place. I get that. Wade Barrett, outstanding job on the mic last night.
Absolutely. And so everybody walks out. Key to note, though, before that, John Cena, Randy Orton, Kelly Kelly, and Eve Torres were
CM Punk.
No, CM Punk.
Was he there?
Yeah, he was there. Those four were not at ringside during the walkout, so we'll see what that plays into the storyline, if anything.
Right.
One person we did thought was going to stick around
was good old JR.
Good old JR. He was there. The fans are kind of cheering, like, "Hey, JR standing." Triple H acknowledged him, but that's when JR took off the headset and
walked away.
Slowly walked out.
Walked away. So, guys,
it seems like nobody in the entire WWE locker room, except for those you mentioned, have no confidence in Triple H as being in charge.
And it's interesting to note that the fans are solely behind Triple H.
Yeah.
I mean, it was clearly obvious. I mean, it could be World Wrestling Triple H because. I mean, the entire roster, the camera guys were setting the cameras down on the mats, walking out.
Yeah, I got a nice picture of
Justin Roberts walks out. Michael Cole walks out.
Cameraman, ring bell.
Everybody walking out. And yet the crowd continuously to chant, Triple H, Triple H. You know, it's like, wow. So
where do you think this goes?
I think someone else takes over as the man in charge. Obviously, if your peers have no confidence in you, then how is your board of directors ever going to have confidence in you?
Do you think this is all big mahooey to bring back the big guy?
Big Show?
No.
Who?
Who do you think?
Vince McMahon.
Vince Kennedy McMahon.
The big cheese.
Big cheese.
I mean, it's obviously no secret to anybody that he's going to come back at one point or another. It just seems like this may be the way to do it, because if your coworkers have no confidence in you, you need to have someone you have confidence in. So.
I think this is all ploy. I mean, we know it's storyline. I think this John Laurinaitis is. I think he's plotting to take over.
Have a recall.
I think what he was saying is that absolutely Kelly and John Cena and all that's going to have some kind of thing to do with the storyline. I told Big B last night, don't be surprised if you see a variation of the NWO coming back. I think
which to that, do you think Kevin Nash plays a role in any of this?
I think he comes back somewhere. I don't know what he's going to do, because they kind of went away from that when they fired him. So.
Yeah, don't be surprised if some form of the NWO takes flight.
And since it was a walkout and everybody is gone, will we see a SmackDown Friday night?
I don't know.
Well, see, the walkout was for Raw.
But people weren't on there.
Well, that's true. That is true.
So it brings up a good point.
Well, they are advertising Big Show on, so I'd imagine there's going to be something going on.
Ooh.
in some
I have
capacity.
a feeling we better hope. Let's just hope that Big Show doesn't fight Mark Henry for the title of Vengeance, because if so, we may have one less member of the
We
show.
may have one less triple threat.
Because he's already threatened suicide if that happens, and I hope that doesn't happen.
Secretly you both do.
That's definitely my prediction, is some kind of outlandish group, if any, kind of comes out. And
I could see maybe John Monroe being the leader of that group. I don't think he likes Triple H in charge, to be honest with you.
You know what I do see? I see a wild card.
I see a wild card topic, too. Postmaster has something very near and dear to his heart that he would like to...
Here we go.
Well, what can I say? If you watch the football special, I spelled it out for you. I said the Eagles would not make the playoffs. Okay?
Doesn't look like it.
Quarter way through the season, they're 1-3. How's that $100 million now looking, Eagles, that you paid for Michael Sickley? Because they're completely terrible. They're the most overrated team ever when it comes to preseason. Everybody, even ESPN, and they have ate their lunch. They even come out and said, ha ha ha. They even come out and said, you know, oh yeah, we all predicted the Eagles, and now we're kind of looking like Dumbos, which you are, because I think they're overrated. They're looking like the Miami Heat of NFL.
It's pretty funny that you know more about the Eagles than ESPN. You think they think the Eagles are something great, but you say the Eagles are overrated, and you're absolutely right.
And he was right. Yeah. He was right.
He stated it. Triple Threat Talk football special. They're not making the playoffs. He's absolutely right. They're terrible.
What can I say?
Why isn't this man on ESPN? Please tell me.
I don't know.
That brings me to my wild card. I think that chemistry is my word of the day. Chemistry.
Are you gonna be a chemistry teacher now? Is that what
I think when you see some of the stuff that they're going through at various teams of the NFL, I think that you're seeing a lot of bad and good chemistry, and good chemistry has worked on the sidelines. I think Alex Smith is not the same quarterback that we've seen. I'm just saying. I'm throwing it out there. Tell me how I'm wrong when he's throwing one pick all year.
You're wrong.
Tell me how I'm wrong. It's the fact he's improved. So has other players. Other players have definitely improved. I'm not going to be the biased one here. There have definitely been other players that have improved. Matt Schwab has definitely improved. Rex Grossman, although
Rex fail.
Tell me where he was this time last year. That's all I'm saying. Arian Foster's definitely started off where he's come off. Chemistry. It's not about the number of talent that you have. It's about how you work together. And I think this is what the Eagles, as well as other teams in the NFL that are doing poorly, need to figure out.
Chemistry equals championships.
That's true.
Again, looks like last week I didn't have a wild card to start with, but I actually have a wild card now. Today, actually yesterday, because this is Wednesday now, October 4th, yesterday, the top 20 for the tester was announced, and I was absent on that top 20 list. So what it seems like is my journey to being on the show is probably over. Unless for some miracle that I get a call from the casting, I'm probably not going to get on the show this year. So I want to thank these two for voting for me, supporting for me. Thanks to everyone who voted from Triple Threat Talk Facebook page and everyone who watched Triple Threat Talk on YouTube. I really appreciate all the votes. I'm going to try for next year. If I don't make it next year, then I'm going to find some other way to get into the gaming industry. But I really appreciate everyone's votes who really supported for me to get on the show. And thanks a lot, guys.
I really thought the bowl of K-Nose would put you on the top.
Let's go.
But, so our idiot of the week.
Wait, we gotta do it. And don't do it like you did last time. Here's our
idiot of the week.
Drum roll, please.
Idiot of the week.
Now
this is something, I gotta take props for this, because this is something I pointed out to the team.
We weren't gonna have an idiot of the week until the doctor sent me a message on the Facebook, the Facey Space, about some moronic groundskeeper during the Saints-Jaguars game. Now, if I were a football player, which way do I go here? So please explain to our audience here.
It looks like the groundskeeper was smoking a little bit of something before the game, and
maybe some in the ground.
Whoa!
When you got towards the end zone from about the red zone or the 25-yard line on, the arrows were pointing the wrong way.
If you don't know what I'm talking about, here's a picture right there for you. Doesn't look right to me, does it?
No,
it doesn't look very good at all.
I see a couple things wrong here. But I mean, it wasn't just one mark. It's the entire side of the. It's the entire side.
That's
what the heck?
That's like combining his two words. It's an epic fail.
It's just ridiculous, and we just had to point that out. I laughed hysterically when I saw that. It was funny.
I think one other thing to note, and kind of as an idiot of the week, Junior. Hank Williams Jr.
Runner-up.
The runner-up for Idiot of the Week with his comparing President Obama to Adolf Hitler comment.
Ooh, yeah. Rub some people the wrong way.
Yeah.
What were you thinking?
He wasn't thinking. That's the point.
It prompted ESPN to pull the Monday Night Football intro. Thank you, ESPN.
So last night, to the millions and millions of viewers who watch Monday Night Football, I guess they weren't ready for some football because
they weren't ready. I mean, it was 8:30. I'm tuned in. I'm ready for the Colts, and then all of a sudden I wasn't ready. I was like, whoa! But very bad decision on his part to say what he said. He did come out today and release an apology. Damage is already done.
Yeah, it's like when you're a kid and you break something. It's like, oh, I'm sorry. Well, you already did it anyway. So it's like, what are you apologizing for?
So, what I do. I don't know. Anyway.
He dug himself a grave. It's going to be hard to dig himself out from that.
Absolutely.
Well, guys, great show.
Excellent show.
Moving on to the next pay-per-view is Vengeance. We'll see what happens with that one. That's the next pay-per-view coming up. And then, obviously, pay-per-view after that is Survivor Series with The Rock coming back. So that's
The Rock.
Some pretty big things are coming in the next couple months for WWE.
Absolutely.
And that's pretty much it for the show. If you want to follow us on Facebook, you can at Triple Threat Talk. Facebook.com/TripleThreatTalk. You can follow us on Twitter at TripThreatTalk. And you can send us any comment or question you have at triplethreattalk@yahoo.com. And as Postmaster reiterated last week, please check out talkaboutit.org. It's a great organization. So for Triple Threat Talk, this is Big B.
And yet again, talkaboutit.org. Postmaster Jones.
And the Doctor.
See ya!
Thanks for watching, guys. And once again, thanks for all the support for the tester.